What's up guys, Houndish here, and this week we have the final faction rally of Season 2 inside of Destiny 2. So the faction rally is actually going to go away for a little bit. This means we won't see one until we have the new content in May. Hopefully this will mean some positive and meaningful changes for the faction rally. Of course, we'll have to wait and see. But in this video, I wanted to talk about the featured weapons for this week very briefly, and on top of that, some weapons that may be worth picking up or keeping hold of from the factions, which are actually going to get some pretty substantial buffs in the March 27th update for PvE and PvP content. We have the typical 3 featured weapons. These will be the weapons that become available for the winning faction. So we have the FWC Sniper, the Dead Orbit Sniper, and the Grenade Launcher from New Monarchy. And both of the snipers actually have pretty similar roles. So the Domino from FWC is an adaptive frame sniper. We've got the 9-rect telescopic lens. I'm not exactly sure how you're supposed to say that. It doesn't sound good. We've got the 50 val telescopic, and then we have alloy magazine for faster reloads when the mag is empty, flared magwell for faster reloading, increasing stability and reload speed, and then pulse monitor, which auto reloads a part of the magazine when the wielder is critically wounded. We'll take a quick look at the Dead Orbit Sniper. So it's called Distant Tumulus, I think that's how you say that. This one is rapid fire frame, so it's actually a viced sniper. Comes with small bore, arrowhead break, and extended barrel. We've got extended mag, flared magwell, and then pulse monitor once again. So like I said, the roles are pretty similar on both of these sniper rifles. We may as well take a look though at the interference, which is the grenade launcher featured for New Monarchy. So this one is adaptive frame, comes with volatile launch, smart drift control, hard launch, and then in the middle column we have alloy casing, we've got implosion rounds, and finally field prep. I don't feel like this is the most fantastic grenade launcher in terms of perks. The one thing to say though is that grenade launchers will be getting a buff next week in terms of damage. It's hard to say exactly how good that buff will be, but of course grenade launchers could turn out to be relatively decent, so that's worth bearing in mind. However, I don't feel like this is going to be the most exciting weapon. Out of the 2 snipers, Distant Tumulus is a vice sniper like I said. There are quite a few of these in the game, but looking at the Domino, we do have the 50 val telescopic lens, which is a short zoom scope, so it's going to be more popular in PvP. It's also a higher impact sniper, which is generally good in most types of content, and considering they do have pretty similar roles, I would focus primarily on the stats, so I would say Domino is probably going to be the best featured weapon for this week, but that's just my opinion. You'll have to let me know what you guys think. Outside of the featured weapons though, there are a few new weapons thrown into the pool. So we have Radiant Stardust from Dead Orbit. This is a lightweight frame SMG, also a viced weapon. We've got full bore, hammer-forged rifling, and chambered compensator. It has steady rounds in the middle, a pending mag, and then finally we have Grave Robber. So Grave Robber allows melee kills to reload a portion of the magazine. Not a bad bonus in general for PvP or PvE. You're going to be pretty close to enemies. You're going to end up meleeing enemies quite regularly when you're using a weapon like this. So I feel like this is a relatively decent SMG. We have the Deicide coming from FWC. This is a rapid fire frame shotgun, so like Hawthorne's Field Forge shotgun. It's got full choke, fluted barrel, and small bore. In the middle column, steady rounds. Or we have flared magwell for fast reloading, and then moving target, which increases movement speed and target acquisition when moving while aiming down sights. I don't think it's the best of the rapid fire frame shotguns that are out there. I think the Eater of Worlds shotgun is probably better than this one, but you do have steady rounds, which isn't bad considering it fires quickly. Moving target, isn't completely useless. Generally, you're going to ADS with a shotgun like this because of how quickly it fires, so not terrible, but not the best either. Then there is the Quit Claim Shotgun 3 from New Monarchy. This one is aggressive frame. We've got rifle barrel, smooth bore, and then fluted barrel, flared magwell in the middle column, assault mag, and finally field prep. To be completely honest, I have never used assault mag. I can't really tell you how effective it is, but it sounds like a relatively decent bonus. This is one of the higher impact shotguns. You also have rifle barrel, so you can bump up that range just a little bit. I feel like generally these are more popular inside of PvP content. I personally think Deadpan Delivery, which is the Vanguard shotgun, is probably a little bit better than this because it's the same archetype. You don't have rifle barrel, but you do have accurized rounds, and it also has pulse monitor. So there are absolutely better options than Quick Claim. I did speak about this briefly before, how, they burnt a lot of the primary and the energy weapons, the more exciting weapons that they've got for the factions in the faction rallies leading up to this particular event. So the new stuff this time around isn't the most exciting, and it's probably one of the reasons that faction rallies is actually going away. But there are a handful of other weapons you can get from factions which are definitely going to be worth paying attention to when the March update rolls around. So starting with Dead Orbit, there is something like the Dire Promise. Pretty good hand cannon. It's a lightweight frame, so it's 150 rounds per minute as opposed to the higher impact things like Bed better devils. You do have steady rounds, so you've got better recoil control. You can also increase the magazine size with appended mag, and then you have triple tap as well, which of course allows you to return one round to the magazine by rapidly landing precision hits. Of course, accuracy is being buffed on consoles, so you could see Dire Promise become pretty strong. There is of course also the Hollow Earth from Dead Orbit. This is a Viced auto rifle, actually coming with Zen Moment. This is one of the main draws for the weapon because it pretty much becomes a laser beam. There are no major changes to the archetype in the March update, but nonetheless I think it's one to definitely look out for, and some of its main contenders, things like 450 RPM autos, are also being taken down a peg. Another particularly interesting weapon from Dead Orbit would be 3 Graves. So this is a super slow firing high impact pulse rifle, can bump up the stability with flared magwell or increase the magazine size, and you also have Outlaw, which is pretty nice. This particular class of pulse rifle is getting a rate of fire increase, so it's going to fire quicker, but it's also getting a damage buff, so its ability to put out, good damage is only going to go up. But for FWC, we have the stochastic variable, so this is their SMG. It is a lightweight frame, so automatically it fires at 900 rounds per minute, but you do have phase magazine, which is going to drop the rate of fire to 600 rounds per minute, the same as the anti-OP. There are other options including high caliber rounds, and then you have tap the trigger, grants a short period of increased stability and accuracy on initial trigger pull. It's a really solid SMG right now, but like I said, we're going to be seeing a pretty substantial buff to SMGs in PvE content, so once again, this is going to be one to keep hold of or look out for. A weapon that we know is going to get some significant love is the Heart of Time pulse rifle. So this is a rapid fire frame pulse. This archetype is actually getting a damage increase in PvE and PvP content. Of course, the other interesting thing about this weapon is that it features the Dragonfly perk, so precision kills create an elemental damage explosion. This has so far famously been a much worse version of Firefly that we had in Destiny 1, but on top of the fact that this particular pulse rifle is getting a generic damage buff, Dragonfly is getting a pretty substantial buff in the next update as well. They're looking to increase the damage and the blast radius, basically to bring it more in line with Firefly from Destiny 1. So once again, this pulse rifle could be pretty fantastic. Another quick shout I would mention would be the Number auto rifle from FWC, very similar to Uriel's Gift. This particular class is actually getting a slight range nerf inside of the 27th update. Uriel's Gift does have the base range edge on the Number, however the Number has ricochet rounds which increases range. That is also tied to accuracy, so this thing is potentially going to see a little bit less of a drop off than what some of the other auto rifles do. And another big thing for this one is that high impact reserves is getting a buff to do considerably more damage. So I think it's a safe bet that this is going to continue to be one of the best 450 RPM autos in the game. It's possible that it could have a slight edge in some situations over some of the others after the patch. Right here I have a couple of weapons that I've actually never managed to get dropped, but from New Monarchy it's definitely worth looking at the Maxim 11 sniper rifle. So sniper rifles are seeing some changes to accuracy, aim assist. There's also going to be a big fix for some of the flinch issues for snipers in May. Now this is an adaptive frame sniper, so it's decent impact. It's got SSO-05 sniper, SSO-07 and SSO-08 sniper. So you do have some short zoom scopes right there. We've got alloy magazine. It also has flared magwell. Importantly, it has snapshot sights as well. And generally right now, this is probably the best PvP sniper. You've got the best scope options right there. The handling is decent. You also have snapshot sights. Pretty much everything about this weapon is getting buffed, so this could be the new meta as far as PvP snipers in particular go. There's also the Unification shotgun right here. This is one of the slug shotguns, a Soros one. It's precision frame. It's a pretty good roll because it has high caliber rounds. You've also got assault mag once again, and then it has full auto. The base range stats and stats in general are very solid on this weapon. A lot of people do consider it to be one of the best slug shotguns in the game. So of course, with heavy ammo being more prevalent, movement speeds increased inside of this update, this could be another one definitely to look out for. Another pretty obvious pick is going to be the Legal Action 2 because it's a high impact frame pulse rifle, so once again increase the rate of fire and to damage that this thing's going to do, and that's in all types of content. It has accurized rounds, so it can increase the range. You've also got high caliber rounds, very strong across the board, and then you have Rampage, another bonus which is going to see a buff on the March 27th update. So for this weapon in particular, you're looking at damage buff, rate of fire increase, and a damage buff and, general increase to the time that Rampage lasts. We can't sit here and say this is absolutely going to be a godly weapon. I mean, that's hard to tell really, but there's certainly a possibility that, the combination of archetype and perks is going to make this thing more potent. So if you're at a bit of a loss and you want to jump into the faction rally this week, if there's any of these weapons that you don't have that interest you, I think they're definitely going to be worth looking out for going into the March launch update next week. Pretty much everyone knows about it by now, but this is going to be one of the most significant, well, pretty much the significant Sandbox update since D2 actually dropped. So let's hope that it's going to mix things up and, you know, going to be a little bit more interesting for a while. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, guys. Let me know if you're going to play in the faction rally this week to try and, you know, finish any of your ornaments, pick up any of the weapons. If you have enjoyed the video, guys, a like is very much appreciated. It really helps me out on the channel. If you're new around here and you want to see more Destiny content going forward, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Also, I do have a Patreon page. Sometimes folks ask me about it. I try to put some exclusive Patreon content over there. We also have our Discord server, which is really lively. There's plenty of people to chat with, plenty of people to try and jump into games with. We also have some pretty awesome giveaways and stuff like that. So if you want to check it out, the link will be in the description below. For now though, I appreciate you guys watching. Whatever you get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.